the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and a host of other papers here up for review on the Break It On Papers Review this morning. All right, we start off with the Punch newspaper, and here on the front page of the paper, Sadiko unmasking terrorist leader behind Kwara massacre. Inside Burkina Faso, Ghana criminal networks where desperate Nigerian migrants disappear. And that's a major feature here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. I lost millions to Tinder scammer who promised to marry me. That's according to Entrepreneur. And Venom and Vacuum, how Nigeria's anti-venom shortage turns snake bites into death sentences. And her family cakes has Omiju Ujumi, singer's ex-husband exposes secret. 85% of senators support e-transmission. Kinjibe debunks legislative blockade claims. Police probe attack on actor 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿𝐒. More here says Ondo landlady poisons tenant's son over feud. Called his mother Rivers youth leader 8. And we have this one, 8 suspected kidnappers, drug peddlers nabbed. And that's a bit of the Metro Plus page of the Punch newspaper this morning. This one says Kiamo Bags-based University Aviation Training Pipuza. Lagos understudies NERC to strengthen power regulation. Federal government issues deadlines to Chinese road contractors. All of those are some of the headlines out here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We also touch on The Guardian. There are a couple of headlines there out of The Guardian newspaper this morning. And here we have on The Guardian, the main story here says NNPC explores refinery partnership with Chinese firm. And this says Kefas breaks silence on alleged rift with T.Y. Danjuma. Several journalists injured in Bauchi accident. Tyler Vibe, Terry Apala join forces in Change AM Visuals. That's a bit of lifestyle. Abuja gridlock. Center 6 relocation of government institutions from city center. And presidential team defense ministry move to strengthen security at grassroots. Ethical failure, self-serving leadership undermine Nigeria's progress, says Okuna. And Alebiosu Ndoma Egba hail Fashiona's 5-year stewardship at Foye. All right, still here on the front page of The Guardian, we have this one, 1 billion naira donation by Glow. Oh, right. That appears to be one of the commercial news here. Reps probe 6 FCT area councils over alleged 100 billion naira financial infractions. A Nigerian energy expert develops diagnostic tool to evaluate financial incentives in sector. All right, still here on the front page of The Guardian, we have this one, MNN honors Babagana Zulum with Transformational Leadership Award. All right, so much more here on the front page of The Guardian this morning. We also take this one, federal government tips gas as driver of power sector says reforms resolved legacy debts. All of those are some of the headlines that have been out of The Guardian. We also take a look at the Daily Post news engine. There are also a couple of headlines. US suspends nationwide strike after 84 days. Headsman raid Benue community kidnap woman. Burn markets. And this says lack of transparency in election bane of Nigeria's democracy. That's according to Dawn. Lagos police detain officers over alleged assault on actor 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿𝐒. And 2027 election will be Nigerian versus oppressors. That's according to Oyegun. Labour Party gains more control of Abia House of Assembly as PDP's DLA defects. And Ekiti Chief Judge grants pardon to 51 awaiting trial inmates, grants bail to 6 others. More here says, here on the Daily Post still, this says National Convention APC drops Uzodinma as chairman, appoints Masari. ADC blames Tinubu for Kwara killings. And a bit of sporting news, EPL, that's English Premier League. Joe Cole reveals Man City fixture that will determine if Arsenal will win title. And SPL, Ronaldo snubs second consecutive Al Nassr match amid transfer protests. Still talking sport a bit, and we have this one. Other national news, Ekiti Chief Judge grants pardon to 51 awaiting trial inmates. And that taken earlier, Governor Ubasani briefs Tinubu on rescue of abducted Kaduna worshippers. Still here on the Daily Post, we also have this one. Police arrest 3 over 10 million naira blackmail plot in Lagos. All right, we have Austin standing by for us, but we quickly touch on cable, NG, and also have some headlines to out of the cable this morning before having Austin to do the analysis proper for us. All right, here on the cable, we do have other headlines. Bayo Julari reveals why NNPC refineries haven't worked. Kabiru Turaki-led NWC rejects BK factions move to take over PDP headquarters. Trump deletes video depicting Barack, Michelle Obama as monkeys after backlash. And we have this one, Edo NNPC partner to build 10,000 barrel per day condensate refinery. And we have this one, Joheso suspends nationwide strike after 84 days. U.S. condemns Kwara attack, backs Tinubu's security response. Police returned $23,000 recovered from romance scammer to Cayman Island victim. And more here says John Oyeko Kicks has Edo APC demands 150 million naira alleged debt. Over 85% of senators backed electronic transmission of results, says Victor Ume. And Tinubu perpetrators of Kwara killings won't go scot-free. All right, still more here on the cable this morning. Lack of investment readiness inviting readiness limiting businesses access to finance, says WIEG-led consultant. All of these are some of the headlines you find out here on the cable this morning. All right, we have Austin already here for us to do the analysis proper. Austin, it's great to have you back here. Good morning. All right, Austin. I want us to start off with this one. This says Bayo Julari reveals why NNPC refineries haven't worked, and what he's saying here at the just concluded Nigerian International Energy Summit, and Ojulari said the refineries failed to focus on running the facilities. All right, and he's also saying the reason our refineries have not worked is that we are focused on the first two, EPC and financing. Anybody who wants to do the financing will get value for it. All right, Austin, with all of these terminologies and the semantics here, talking about failure of the refineries, if have subsequent presidents and government giving us reasons as to why the refineries have been in comatose, and the Julari's case is not going to be something different. But then, do we have explanations or excuses that should come at this age and time why Nigeria's national refineries would not work? That's one of our national assets that has been there for a very long time. What do we have to say with what Ojulari has come up with here?
Yeah, I think if you look at those refineries, one, perhaps it was designed not to work or designed to fail by reason of sabotage as a result of those who find themselves in government from time to time. What Bayo Julari is saying is that the NNPC or the government, as it were, focuses majorly on the issue of contract, exploration, production, and construction. That these are the major reasons why it has not really worked. That if we want the refinery to work, it shouldn't just be about contract exploration. It shouldn't just be about production. It shouldn't just be about financing. It should also majorly be about making the facilities to work. We have seen a lot of GMDs of NNPC come and go, and at the end of the day, the state of the refinery on some occasions worsen. But Ojulari has come on board, is a major player within the sector, especially from the private angle. If you talk about experience, he has the experience. Those who have been there before, they were never also lacking in experience. NNPC has been rebranded, quote unquote, due to content in the Petroleum Industry Act. It has given NNPC a full nomenclature of a public limited company, which suffice to say that they can improve on their corporate governance. they can also focus on profit making and diversification. So the bottom line and what Nigerians want to see is that Ojulari should make it work. The reason why he has been appointed, especially at this time, is to make the refineries work. So it is not just enough to let us know the reason. Some of us know the reason why it has not really worked, because a lot of people don't want it to work for obvious reasons. Look at the Farouk and Dangote crisis, for example. We have a refining capacity now more than ever before, and we have a situation where a regulatory agency within the sector is granting more importation licenses now than before. So these are some of the factors. There are a lot of factors that have militated against the operational efficiency of our refinery. So Ojulari should work his talk. He should make the refineries work, attract foreign investors or even local investors. My personal opinion as far as those refineries are concerned is that let us try to kickstart them, make them work to a large extent, then privatize them. We need to set them because they have constituted like a cost center to the government. So we have to do away with them. But before we can do that, my perception have always been that let's get to a level where it can even work, so that at least we'll be able to get value for those refineries.
All right, Austin, but at this stage, should we be talking about having to have refinery partnership with Chinese firm? Because this has been like a trap for Nigerians, looking at how much more we have to pay huge sum of amount of money back in interest and all of that. But at this stage, should we be entering this kind of partnership? Are we saying that we don't have homegrown approach to solve some of these problems? This is what we've been doing over time, and there's no significant progress. So at this point, do we begin to look at opportunities of going back to Chinese firm to fix our refineries again?
Yeah, like we have said before, the idea is not that we have entered into so many partnerships. In short, report has said that cumulatively, the turnaround maintenance cost for those refineries for the period of around 20 years was close to $20 billion. That is the amount Dangote used to set up a world-class refinery. See, the thing is this: let local investors, we need to encourage them to come into the sector. But the truth of the matter is that with what Dangote is experiencing, someone who has the stature of Dangote is struggling for survival. If not that, look at him; he has beginning to speak up. A lot of people want to even kill that investment. So these are some of the things that make investors, even local investors, not want to invest. But partnering with an international company like a Chinese firm, there's nothing wrong in that. They can bring their technical know-how, they can bring their skills to kickstart the refinery. So whether local or international, let us engage people. Let it be public-private partnership at the beginning. But like I said, I've told you my goal is to make it work to a large extent, and then we privatize them. Look at Dangote was able to set up his refinery. He has earlier indicated interest in the procurement of the state-owned refinery, but the government did not allow, or the labor did not allow at some point, and they had to back down. He had to go and build a brand new refinery, the one you call a greenfield refinery. There are a lot of moribund assets within the state-owned refinery. So it's a whole lot of capital-intensive project. But like I said earlier, government has spent a lot of money in that refinery. Whatever we need to put in terms of naira and kobo at this time, we must get value for money.
All right, Austin, coming back to the National Assembly on this issue of e-transmission of results. Now we have Senator Kindigbe, who appears to be a member of the Electoral Act Amendment Committee on Electoral Matters, Committee on Electoral Matters. She's come out to say that 85% of senators support e-transmission and debunks legislative blockade claims. Now, should it be an issue of debate? Shouldn't we be talking at this stage about how to improve technology? Because that has been the major problem. Capturing beavers and all of that have been one of the major issues that we have in our previous elections. Shouldn't the National Assembly be discussing how they can employ more technical technologies that would not fail, especially when you're capturing data and ensuring that results are well transmitted without the server going off. Shouldn't that be the debate, not considering whether they should use it or not?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do not really understand these dynamics. What we want is a situation where some of this innovation by INEC will be inculcated, first of all, into the Electoral Act and then the Constitution. A lot of this innovation by INEC, most of them are not readily tenable in the court of law because the court will say these were not creations of the law. I cast your mind back to 2015 when card reader came out. A lot of elections, including that of Rivers, that of Lagos, and multiple state governorship elections, were supposed to be nullified due to non-substantial compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act at that time. But when those cases got to the Supreme Court simply ruled that card reader was not a creation of the Electoral Act, number one, was not also a creation of the Nigerian Constitution. So these governors were allowed to go. The crux of the matter is this: whatever that can improve the credibility, the fidelity of our election must be embedded into our law. Now, the law states that INEC has the responsibility to organize, conduct, and supervise election. Part of those responsibilities are also to come up with innovations that can enhance the credibility of this election. Now, a lot of these senators and politicians, they are playing politics with this. It was a contentious issue on this platform yesterday. The issue is that there is both electronic transmission and manual transmission. Those senators must come out to say that. Don't just say that 85% of senators wanted, they voted for electronic transmission. Is it total electronic transmission or plus manual transmission? Because electronic transmission have always been in the Electoral Act. A lot of people don't know. This is not an issue of sentiment. It's not an issue of emotion. Most of the time when the issue of Electoral Act amendment comes to play, there is always a dichotomy between the politicians who are in the ruling party and those who are in the opposition. The truth of the matter is that this revised version of the Electoral Act, the National Assembly simply adopted the clause as it were, which suffice to say that you can transmit result electronically. But if you go to the court to prove election case, the court will also say that you can also transmit manually. A lot of cases came through in the fallout of 2023 general election. This is the issue. Somebody said yesterday that 𝐷𝐈𝐒 said 𝐷𝐈𝐒 is not the Senate. It's not the Senate. The 𝐒𝐇𝐒 is not the Senate. There is a clause that results should be transmitted electronically, but there is also a proviso within that context that manual transmission is also allowed. What people want is that let manual transmission be eliminated. And some politicians and some lawmakers are saying that a situation where we cannot be able to transmit results electronically, what then happen? So these are a lot of peculiarity. We used to have this conversation in a pre-election period. Politicians, they will divide against themselves and they will argue. Some of them will grant press conferences. Go and check it. Somebody said he watched it live. This was also what we monitor too. There is a combination of both clauses within the 2002 Electoral Act and within the revised version. The Senate just amended some section of the 2022. They adopted as it were. That is the context. If you say that, the opinion of people is that, one of the things is that some of these senators, they come out to do press conference. When they get to the chamber, they will not make their voice to be known. Some of them, they will simply look away. Some of them, they will not prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. Is to go to one TV station and the other to go and be saying what is not. If we use technology to improve the outcome of our election, the better for all of us. But the context as far as this matter is concerned is that the National Assembly retain both electronic transmission and manual transmission. That was the status quo in 2022. That is what they still did now. So let Abaribe, let 𝐒𝐿 come out to expatiate further that what we passed was total electronic voting with the abolishment of manual transmission. That is when we will be clear. Not that, people supported electronic voting. Two of them, the National Assembly want the two of them to go together because there is a fear from some places in the north that real-time transmission may not work. And real-time transmission is a major problem. Real-time transmission. It was not, I said it yesterday on this platform, it was not as if results were not electronically transmitted, even the presidential result in the last election. But there was no real-time transmission of presidential election result. At the end of the day, they say achieve 100%, but it got close to 1 week and the purpose is defeated. So that's this is the bone of contention.
All right, Austin, we have this one. Abuja Gridlock Center seeks relocation of government institutions from city center. Austin, this has been a major argument over time that you don't create all of the institutions in a particular city because it's believed to be the federal capital territory itself. You have some part of the country that have been sidelined, and you realize that there are influx of people migrating from these areas to the places where they believe that there are opportunities. And now you have some of the limited facilities in this part of the country, well overused, or it becomes a heavy burden. And that's the same thing happening in Abuja. Is it possible, from what the center is saying, to decentralize some of the institutions to some part of the country, especially taking them off a little bit from the federal capital territory here?
Yeah, I think for the purpose of urban planning and congestion is very expedient. We have to see what we can do to that. And at times too, we also play politics with that. Everything in Nigeria is politics. There was a time some department of some agencies of governments were being relocated from Abuja to certain part of the country. The politics that follow. I see no reason where we concentrate major agencies within business districts in the Federal Capital Territory. Some of them could be outskirts. Some of them could be in Port Harcourt. Some of them could be in Lagos. Some of them could be in Enugu, some of the big cities that we have in the country. But those who plan Abuja wanted everything to move to Abuja. But we have a situation where we are duplicating agencies day in, day out. So Abuja is even relatively becoming too small to accommodate some of these agencies. So whatever the government has to do, let it be properly thought out, a plan, so that at the end of the day, it will not generate. There's no move in Nigeria that people will not read meaning to. So if this is the way to go, well, my view is that it is long overdue that would decentralize some of the national. There are some things, if you want to do them in Nigeria, you have to go to Abuja. It's not supposed to be so. In advanced country, even in smaller cities, you be able to still do what the center can do for you. But it is a monotony of bureaucracy, for example, where we have to go to Abuja. I cite an example of correction of our international passport. If you have to do a correction on international passport before Olubunmi Tuju came on board, you have to go to Abuja. Right. You have to go to Abuja. They will say a minister will have to sign something. So you travel from Ibadan to go to Abuja for a misspell. Maybe they want to write Austin. Instead of starting with A, they started with O, and I had to go to Abuja for that. When this guy came on board, you could even do that in Lagos without having to enter plane and go to Abuja. So if the government want to do this, I think it's a welcome development. But like I said, it must be properly managed so that people will not read meaning to it.
All right, Austin, back to this issue of Sadiko. Now, unmasking terrorist leader behind Kwara massacre. We had this happen during the Muhammad Yusuf era, during the Boko Haram, at the heat of it, when you have instances of him being unmasked, arrested, and somehow he died along the line, and there've been issues around, they are actually retaliating some of these cells, Boko Haram cells and all of that, and that's why they are creating a lot of bloodshed in the country itself. What does the security need to do with this Sadiku himself? Because this is someone from investigations by one of the dailies is saying that it's a calculated expansion of a jihadist front that the country's security architecture failed to halt despite prior warnings. Now, what does the security need to do, especially knowing that this is the figure they are dealing with?
Yeah, the security had to do more. In terms of all these high-profile terrorists or criminal gang within the country, the security operative must handle their cases with diligence. You just narrated at a glance how Boko Haram was given birth to, right?
Right.
He was arrested. He was extrajudicial. He was arrested by the military. They handed him over to the police, which was normal. They were trying to move him from one place to the other.
All right, Austin,
he was extrajudicial.
Austin, please, I will have you hold your thought a little bit. We have to pay this bill. So we'll be back shortly afterwards. Please do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
This Ramadan, emotions ignite. Can rival sisters overcome pride? Will a defiant daughter find forgiveness? Can a bride's faith save her husband? A businessman rediscovers family. An influencer chooses between friends and fame. A single mom discovers even strength needs support.
6 stories, 30 days. Faith, family, friendship, food, forgiveness. Tales of Ramadan Season 2. Catch every dramatic moment on TV and digital. This Ramadan, Maggie turns up the heat.
Me and Maggie, so good together.
Win from over 80 million naira in cash and exciting prizes in the Golden Hunt promo.
This promo, there's no need for advert anymore.
Because
my mom alone can hunt down any gist. How much more 80 million naira in prizes with the whole family involved?
Naija, let the Golden Hunt begin. Just buy any Golden Morn Golden Hunt 30 gram or 45 gram promo pack. Look inside for a unique code and dial *8011*1# for a chance to win big. Promo ends April 15, 2026. Golden Morn. Make every day golden.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star Double Cubes, made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie Double Cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Yes.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids Milo 3-in-1, milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
This Ramadan, emotions ignite. Can rival sisters overcome pride? Will a defiant daughter find forgiveness? Can a bride's faith save her husband? A businessman rediscovers family. An influencer chooses between friends and fame. A single mom discovers even strength needs support.
6 stories, 30 days. Faith, family, friendship, food, forgiveness. Tales of Ramadan Season 2. Catch every dramatic moment on TV and digital. This Ramadan, Maggie turns up the heat.
Me and Maggie, so good together.
Mariaba la wazala, Mariaba la wazala, Osuika
ahlan wa sahlan famarhaba ya sharral karim. Oṣù bùkún oṣù àforíjìn oṣù Ramadan máa wulẹ̀ máa rọra oṣù tí Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah sọ wípé gbogbo ẹni bá ṣe dáadáa kan níbẹ̀ òun yóò san ní ẹ̀san lọ́pọ̀ nínú iṣẹ́ ládá tí ẹ̀dá tún lè ṣe tí ládá ẹ̀dá ó tún fi tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah ó ní kí ẹ̀dá ó máa ná nínú tí Ọlọ́run fún lóore sójú ọ̀nà tọlọ́run kí ládá tèmi tìrẹ lè tún tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah pàtàkì jùlọ nínú oṣù Ramadan ìdí nìyí tí ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 tá a kalẹ̀ kà sájà kan kòkó ọ̀zùgbẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn fi ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àwọn ètò ọlọ́kun òjọ̀kan tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ nínú oṣù Ramadan yìí láti jẹ́ kí ládá tiwa náà tún kún kẹ́kẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba àwọn ètò tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ bíi wáàsí ọlọ́gbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú oníṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún oníṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá àti oníṣẹ́jú márùn-ún bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni ìrun pípè lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan àti àwọn ètò kíni àti ètò ìpolówó ọjà lówó tí ò gajara lọ fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ̀lọ́ Ali ní 081 43 38 0224 Yusuf 080 53 56 11 31 Ramadan ọdún yìí kò ní jẹ́ àṣemọ fún wa o Allahumma àmín.
àwọn tí fi dòde oṣù Ramadan mọ́rí apá.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes, double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star double cubes, made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie double cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It On Papers Review here on your Laughter Diet 32 FM 94.9. Austin, you were actually on the insecurity crisis in the country.
Yeah, Sadiku was a popular Boko Haram fighter around 2014 or thereabout, when the military decimated Boko Haram in the northeast. Sadiku migrated down south. When I mean down south, I mean from the up north to around the north central, Niger, Kwara, Kogi. Even the military guys describe Sadiku as the Shekau of north central. This guy, I just quoted 2014 now. He has operated for over 12 years, and we have not been able to get hold of him. He's terrorizing remote communities in Kwara State. The latest massacre report have suggested that he was the mastermind of those attacks in Kwara State, of those adoption, killing, maiming, and what have you. The military had to step up their game. Of course, it's really tough, but they have to step up their game. There is no reason on earth when we have military and we have terrorist leaders who has the capacity to operate for over a decade. Look at when Boko Haram started, for example. Up until today, we have not been able to really eliminate terrorists completely. If we deal with them in Borno State, we hear of them in Zamfara. If we try to bombard them in Zamfara, we hear of the attack in Kogi, Niger, Kwara. So something urgently must be done. The president has said that those who carried that attack out must be punished. It's not just a blanket statement like those who carried it out. Somebody has been mentioned. Somebody has been fingered. He has been on the military trade roll for a long period of time, and we have not been able to hunt him down. So they need to do more. We need to take these guys out as a matter of urgency so that our people can breathe. That's the truth of the matter. Or whatever guys, under whatever guys are they perpetrating this, maybe they want to change some people to a particular religion. The role of government is to really take out these people. Nigeria is a secular state. Nigeria is a state of free religion. Of course, as of today, I can say that with the whole of my mouth. Nigeria is a secular state. Nobody can laud another religion on others. So if they come out, they say, oh, the reason why we are doing this is because we want this set of people to turn to our religion. In my own type of religion, for example, if we want people to join us, we do evangelism. We don't even kill them. You understand? We reach out to them. We make them see reason. We prove our case. So it is the role of the government to be able to take all these people out. I think that is the way to go.
All right, Austin, before we leave this issue, there've always been issue of information ministries over time trying to fix the mouth of the international community when they come out really a bit of a kind of a hammer, a sledgehammer on Nigeria's attitude, especially the government in dealing decisively with elements of terrorism. And now we don't fix home. We look at what the international community is saying, trying to fix them instead of fixing the problem. Now we look at some of the partnership we've had over time. It's always Chinese companies in the picture. Now, in terms of security architecture from other part of the world, do we consider nations like Israel, for instance, in terms of partnership to deal with this crisis? It has been a very long time coming. Is it something that we can consider?
Yeah, it's something that we can also look into. I think the government of Nigeria is exploring every option on the table, but the biggest of them all is the U.S. I think relatively the U.S. has beginning to do well with us in terms of collaboration and cooperation in the area of security. The truth of the matter is that if we don't manage the U.S. very well, there are some allies of the U.S. Israel is one of them. For example, if U.S., when Obama refused to sell weapons to Jonathan, all the American allies refused to sell weapons to Jonathan too. Some of them even wanted to sell, but the government of America had to invoke the delay law. The delay law is that if we manufacture weapons for you, you do not have the right to sell to a country that we do not authorize. That is the way it works in the security setting. But I think the government should look into Israel, like you have said. They are looking at Turkey. Turkey is also very strong in terms of military might. They should look at every possibility at eliminating these guys. We need help. There's no doubt we need help. If you need that, there's a saying that the hand that's paining you, you don't put it in your pocket. If you put it in your pocket, it rottens off. So we need every international collaboration, every international help, especially from the superpowers. So these are options.
All right, we open the phone lines at about now to also take your comments and some of your feedbacks. And we are live on Facebook and also on YouTube, 32FM 949 with double E's, 070-55000-949 or 080-97000-949. Those are the numbers to call in. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Miriam from Odeja.
All right, please go ahead, Miriam.
Yeah, as regard the electronic transmission of results, sincerely, that is the key. If the current administration at the center, that is the APC, isn't planning to reach 2027 election. Sincerely, politicians are only playing politics. And I hope the power of occupancy will not override people's votes come 2027. Thank you. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much, Miriam, for that. I guess that's part of the prayers here. All right, hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
My name is Ade from UI. Good morning to Augustine too. On the issue of electoral law, you see that those people rejected from the Senate. You see, I don't know why Nigeria refused to develop or to move forward. Everywhere, even in Africa, every country they are leaving us behind, just because of the group of people we elected, especially from 2016 to date. Now, GBOLABO, let me ask you a question. If this is what this government they are doing, they pass it, they don't pass it, you use one judiciary or that. If that was what Jonathan do or what Yahya do, how would Tinubu and Buhari ever become president? Of course, the answer is no. Look at when Wike became governor, the election was rigged. But the final judgment at the Supreme Court was that candidate was not in the electoral law. And this government they have all the government with them now. They have money, they have INT'L. They have paid free and fair election. None of them are to vote election today. Be sincere with yourself as an elite. Can you vote for this Baba that is there? You cannot. It's only people that are old people. And those are people that are depending on. And that's why if terminal is working everywhere, GBOLABO, why can't the candidate work anywhere in the country? So let there be protest that there must be no election until that thing is passed. No election. Those are the best of the days.
All right, thank you so much, Ade, from UI there. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, GBOLABO.
Good morning, Tolu.
Yeah, good morning. I agree with the analyst in this. Yes, on insecurity, it's quite unfortunate that after many hours after the attack, those single bandits have been apprehended. It's so unfortunate. And as far as I'm concerned, it speaks volume about the government of the day. Because by now, they ought to have compelled all the security operatives to spring to action and apprehend these people so that they can serve as deterrent to others. Imagine, why do we have government? See, they are not doing enough and they need to do better. Because we've been telling them that the time we have state police, I think the government needs to this advice. Security is local. Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Thank you so much, Tolu. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
This is Bumi Adefusi calling from Apata.
All right.
Agree the analyst. Regarding the NNPC, our refineries, let me put it that way. Government are decentralized by APC, light to Nigeria. That too, the refinery that is in LMA is working. And unfortunately, they came out again and tell us that nothing is working. They just use it as an avenue to sell for money, millions of dollars. That will let's just test one engine and let that engine be rolling. And 10 engineers that LMA refinery is working. And today, nothing to show for it. And most of the areas like I know that lambasted President Olusegun Obasanjo when the former president said LMA refinery is not working. You see the lie. We just want this government to be transparent. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much, Bumi Adefusi there. And this will be our last caller. We need to get some comment here out of Facebook. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, here on Facebook. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? All right, on Facebook, we do have some comment here. Motayo Olurotimi or Nobamiro says, good morning. Good morning to you too. In Nigeria, people are fond on focusing on wrong areas. We graduate, all right, so many engineers and scientists from our universities every year. They should be able to build and refurbish our refineries if they are truly what they say. Okay, we also have Oluwaseun Road says, good morning to the 2FM, good morning to you too. It's high time the government allows our refineries to operate to full capacity. And we also have routine communication regarding the issue of insecurity. We are tired of how this government is treating it with levity. All right, Miriam Yetunde is also saying the Kwara massacre is heartbreaking. If caution isn't taken, it will happen again. The federal government negligence fuels insecurity. They should tackle the root cause before more lives are lost. All right, we have Boluwatife Ademijuwa says functional refineries will bring less hardship. Government and critical stakeholders should revive refineries and attract investors. Omade Adekunle says it's high time the government directed security agencies to deploy all necessary resources to apprehend the bandits. Toluwala Shaditola says it is disappointing that despite Nigeria's vast oil resources, our refineries remain largely non-functional. Fawale Femi says the issue of banditry and terrorism in our country is a hydra-headed monster that have been allowed to fester for long. All right, we also have Sulaiman Sherry says Nigeria's security agencies were overstretched and the attacks by terrorists will persist until structural reforms. The time is fast spent here, Austin. We have to leave the studios right about now. One shot from you as we leave the studios, Austin.
Yeah, GBOLABO. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Austin. Please go ahead. One last shot as we leave the studios. We have barely 30 seconds.
Yeah, we want the government to nip in the bud the widespread insecurity, especially the latest attack in North Central, Kwara, the epic center now. Right. We want government to walk the talk and secure the lives of the people. On the electoral act, let the National Assembly come out plain. It is not some people will come out and grant press statement. Some people will say this is not. What did you pass? Is it a combination of both or just one?
All right,
God bless Nigeria.
All right, God bless Nigeria. We must say a big thank you to Austin Iduma for doing this with us, and to all those who called in and those who sent in their messages. We do appreciate. And of course, we'll be having Baba Fender up next. My name is GBOLABO. Famous Call. Bye for now.